What's going on, everyone? It is Dakisha Williams, the webinar queen, coming in and to talk about a little bit about why no one is showing up for your webinar. Um, so we're going to just jump into it. Hopefully, you guys can hear me okay. Hopefully, I can see some comments coming in, and then I'll know that we're good to go. Anyway, but I want to jump right into the information for today because I still get a lot of questions about whether or not webinars are still working, or as they say, are webinars dead, right? And so the short answer, or yeah, this is gonna be a short answer because I'm gonna give you the long version. Short answer is no, webinars are not dead. And actually, I don't know if it's just me, but I've seen more webinars in the last 60 to 90 days than I have seen in a very long time. Now, I will admit that I may be seeing these webinars because this is what I study, okay? So we'll go with that. But what I am seeing is that people are also stating that they're having a hard time with their show rates, and maybe we'll do another video on actual conversions. But we definitely are seeing a lot of people, their show rates are falling. So if you're watching this video, you're watching the replay, do me a favor, just drop a comment in the chat. Let me know that you are here. And so I'm just going to go ahead and get right into it. And I wanted to share some stats because, there's a lot of different perspectives online in this digital space. And first and foremost, over half of business to business professionals watch webinars weekly. And I'm going to be honest with you, that actually surprised me. I spent a lot more time with B2C versus B2B. So to find that B2B watch webinars weekly was crazy to me. Absolutely crazy. And then number two, 83% of attendees take direct action right after the webinar. Let me say that again. 83% of attendees take direct action right after a webinar. One of the things that I always share with my clients is that 40% of the people that show up to your webinar will become your potential client. And so they're showing up because they are actually wanting to learn something from you. That's why they're there. All right, so that's two. And then 85% of businesses call webinars essential to their marketing. What? Now, can I be transparent for a minute? And I don't know if there's any other professionals that are listening to the sound of my voice, but I have to be honest and say I get tired of hearing myself teach. I get tired of hearing myself teach. And so when I teach or when I'm hosting a webinar and I'm talking about webinars, and there's still people that have never hosted a webinar before. If you've never hosted a webinar before, type a 1 in the chat or type me in the chat. All right. Because I'm still absolutely amazed. And so if you are hosting webinars, type a 2 in the chat, type webinar in the chat if you're already hosting webinars. This one's probably going to be more for you because you're already doing your webinars. And then you're like, all right, Coach D, like, what's going on with the show rate? Well, so let's back it up a little bit. And I was just having this conversation a little bit earlier. And so unfortunately, during the pandemic, you had a lot of people entering into this digital online space. All right. It's just the truth of the matter. And you had a lot of people with access to a lot of money, and they were creating false hope and not getting people results. All right. Let's just leave it there. And so now they're gone. Their business is closed or they're locked up, or on the way to be locked up. Okay. But no, seriously. So either they're no longer in business anymore, They are no longer coaching, but it really put coaches and consultants in a really difficult space, because those of us that are very genuine about what it is that we do and very serious about helping our audience, we are now in a position where we have to pour more time into building that relationship and building the trust with our audience. So, what do you mean by that? And so I was doing a little research. And so the old way of webinars is dead. And somebody asked me this question, like, what do you think is different about webinars? And it literally, I'm going to be honest with you, it took me a long time to determine like what's really different, because I see people doing them a lot and I see them doing it differently, some good, some bad. Um, and I don't mean to get on somebody's platform or get on somebody's webinar and judge, but it's kind of what I do for a living. Like I analyze webinars. So if I'm on your webinar, number one, yes, I am there to learn, but I'm probably also analyze what you're doing as well. Sorry, not sorry. But anyway, so what has died is the fact that what they call the pitch fest. And so I'm just looking at my notes so I don't mess up. And it's funny because cold audience straight to a webinar has not been as effective. Let me say that. I don't want to say it doesn't work, because you know them ad people might be at me and be like, no, because I got clients that I'm running ads for them and it's working. Da, 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 da. I just said it has changed. And so, and even this had started to change back in like 2022. So in one of the things that we started doing was warming up our audience before we put an offer in front of them. And I teach my mastermind clients how to do the same. And so they call it a trust recession. So I don't know if you've heard of that, but that's basically what they're calling it. And so our clients or our prospects they see you online, but they don't trust who you are. And they don't trust that you're going to do what you say you're going to do. And it's interesting because I actually had a call today and I thought it was a coffee chat, but it was someone that was more so interested in what it is that I do. And so they had done their research on me. They were looking for testimonials to be on my site. They were looking for like we're looking for my website. Like they were they were looking for stuff on me, which is cool. I mean, it's fine with me. Like I have videos, I have testimonials, I've got client testimonials, all that stuff. So I have nothing to hide. However, you know, I don't even know who you are. So I'm like, I don't know you. I don't trust you. I'm just like, you know, so the same way they don't trust me, like we looking at people like, what you want? So anyway, here's kind of what I teach when it comes to like your presentation. So number one, visibility is so important. If you Google my name, first and foremost, or if you Google the webinar queen, 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, my content is going to come up and it's going to be consistent. It's going to be the webinar queen. It's going to be consistent across multiple brands, across multiple platforms, excuse me. And so what does that mean? Like if you look me up on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, my Facebook page, LinkedIn, if you Google my name, I Googled my name about a week ago. I believe it was like last week. I Googled my name. All right. And I think LinkedIn was the first thing that came up and Substack was one of the first things that came up. Then it was like my YouTube channel or stuff like that. So that tells me that my content is actually doing the work for me. I've even had clients tell me, I've had clients that tell me that ChatGPT told them, they were like, Russell Brunson, Keisha Williams. Wait, what? Yeah, that's me. Anyway, so visibility is super important. Showing up, being consistent is super important. But let's talk about how your content in your actual webinar presentation can help you create the trust with your audience. And then we'll look at, I'll talk about a couple of different things when it comes to show up. All right. So there's 3 C's for the framework for a profitable webinar. And so the first thing that I need you to do is create a connection with your ideal client. So you're going to be spending time at the first 15, 20 minutes of your presentation. And I tell people it's not to talk about the accolades. The accolades are important. Like I got accolades behind me, right? Some of them you can see. But the accolades are important. And I say this. I'm like, listen, I have to tell you who I am and what I accomplished so that you can know that I know what I'm talking about. I'm not just telling you that I'm an award-winning business strategist. I'm an award-winning business owner just to be tooting my own horn, because that is something that I do not do. Trust me. But I'm telling you this because the work that I've done over the past 15 years has been awarded, okay, for the work that I've done. And so I also tell them about my journey of how we started actually hosting webinars back in 2014. And so I'm sharing that so they can know that I understand exactly where they are right now in their business. And so that they can understand that I've been there. I understand exactly what they're feeling, having to do their very first webinar or having to do workshops every week, every month, having to put in this launch, strategies to get people to just raise their hand. Like I understand that. And so once I position myself as someone who understands where they are, it kind of, she gets me. And so from there, I teach content. And I like to teach content that they can actually implement something immediately. And so a lot of times I'm going to give you something that you can walk away with. Even if you decide you don't want to work with me, or this is not the right time, I still want you to walk away and be like, wow, she gave a lot of value. I want to be known as someone who has no problem giving a lot of value, period, point blank. All right. And then I'm going to invite you to work with me. I'm actually going to let you know at the beginning of the conversation. I'm not going to wait until the end. I'm going to let you know, listen, we're going to spend about 60 to 90 minutes together. And then there's going to be an opportunity for you to work with me if you're interested, if you feel like it is the next step that's going to help you get to the results that you desire. I'm going to say that. I have no shame in that. And if you don't feel like it is the opportunity for you, absolutely. You can still take what I'm giving you and you can implement it on your own. How about that? I love it. Okay. And so that is the 3C framework of how I put together my actual webinar content. Now, the messaging from your post from promoting your actual webinar is very important. If people don't resonate with your content, they're not going to click to show up for your ad. All right. The next thing is, what are you promising them? What are you promising them? And so when they come to your webinar page or your registration page, and then they click to register, be sure that you're showing them what they're going to be able to walk away with after spending 60 to 90 minutes with you. Got it? And it has to speak to them. Like, it cannot use your lingo. It has to use a lingo that they understand. And I see this a lot lately. Like, a lot of times we as professionals are using language that is over their head, especially my corporate folks that are moving into the digital space or moving into the coaching space. I see this a lot of times. So that's one of the things that I want you to do. Number 2, what does your follow-up look like? Are you using SMS? Are you using email follow-up? Are you using someone to actually call them? Are you using High Level to call them? We have a white label version of High Level. So we actually send out a call. And in our most recent webinar show rate, we had 40. What do we have? Of course, it gave me my stats. I want to say we had like a 40% show rate, which is pretty much industry average. So we normally get about 40 to 50% show rate every single time. And We use, sorry, Pat, just trying to catch my thought. And we use SMS. We use SMS and we use emails. And then I make sure that we send an email the day of. I try to send out an SMS message the day of as well. And then kind of like about 15 minutes before, or we are live. And I have to be very careful about this because the rules with that are very, very strict, and we'll get turned off anyway. So that's just some of the ways that we have found to help increase your show rate. But to answer the question, do they actually still, do they work? Absolutely. But those are a couple of things, and I hope that helps. Come back to the video and let me know that this has helped you. But I definitely hope that helps increase some of your show rates. If you need help, just drop the word help underneath this video, wherever you are watching it from. My goal is to give you tips and strategies to help you enroll more clients consistently in your business. That's it. That's all. My name is Dakisha Williams, your webinar and business strategist. Be passionate, be purposeful, but more importantly, be profitable. I'll see you guys next time.